اللهم فك قيد أسرانا وأسر المسلمين. اللهم فك قيد أسرانا وأسر المسلمين. اللهم فك قيد أسرانا وأسر المسلمين وردهم إلى أهلهم سالمين. اللهم إنهم في حاجة عاجلة إلى رحماتك. اللهم إنهم في حاجة عاجلة إلى رحماتك. اللهم إنهم في حاجة عاجلة إلى رحماتك فأنزل عليهم رحماتك يا رحمن يا رحيم. فأنزل عليهم رحماتك يا رحمن يا رحيم. اللهم من آذاهم فآذه ومن عاداهم.
You see around you leaders dropping like flies in countries. You see thrones falling. You see people in prison who were just days ago in prison, now presidents of their and leaders of their countries. You see economic decline in some countries, many countries. You see them losing the level that they had before. The ranking that they had before is drastically going down. And you wonder why that happens. A lot of people are going to say that happened because of inflation. Some people are going to say those thrones going down, those leaders falling are because of the spring. No, wallah, it's not from that. Wallahi, it's from oppression. It's from oppression in the dua of those who oppressed. That's how a true believer takes it. When you oppress and then you think you're going to get away with it, this is the end result of it. Look at them. In one country, a prisoner who was in prison just days before becomes the president, and the president becomes a prisoner. This happens because of oppression, not because, don't attribute it to nature. Don't attribute it, the decline, financial decline, to inflation and economic reasons. No. Don't attribute it to anything other than oppression. Once there's oppression, then these things begin to happen by Allah's word. من عاد لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب. In authentic hadith, the Prophet said, whoever harms a righteous friend of mine, I'm going to declare war on him. Can anyone take a sword and fight Allah the Almighty? Can anyone take a sword and fight Allah the Almighty? He said, if you fight one of my friends, I declare war on you. How's Allah's word declared? Catastrophes, financial declines. The president of that leader becomes in prison, and the one who was in prison becomes a president. Thrones crumbling that you thought would never crumble. Leaders who you thought were going to die in their positions, so suddenly fall down and now become wanted fugitives. This is because of the oppression and the dua of those oppressed. أتهزأ بالدعاء وتزدريه وما تدري ما صنع الدعاء. You mock dua, you think, oh, he's going to ask Allah. What's Allah going to do? No, Allah's going to do Allah. أتهزأ بالدعاء وتزدريه وما تدري ما صنع الدعاء سهام الليل لا تخطي ولكن لها أمد وللأمد انقطاع. The arrows of the night time, which is the dua, have a destiny. And that destiny is they're going to reach their destiny. They're going to reach Allah, and Allah is going to answer. The dua of the oppressed stays between the skies until Allah's answer. Allah tells that dua, لَأَنْصُرَنَّكِ وَلَوْ بَعْدَ حِينٍ. I'm going to give you victory, even maybe not in the short right now, but sooner or later. It is the dua that gave victory to the oppressors. When Yahya bin Khalid al-Barmaki was the leader of the Barmaka, people of the Barakima in the Arabian Gulf today. They were big leaders, wealthy, generous. They were around Medina and Mecca as well. So what happened is, they and Harun al-Rashid got into it. Harun al-Rashid captured them, and Yahya ibn Khalid al-Barmaki, the leader, the one who was looked up to, the one who had everything he wanted, now dies in prison 190 years after the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. While he was in prison, his son Ja'far, who was killed by Harun al-Rashid killed the son but did not kill the father. His son, while they were in prison in shackles, he said, Oh Father, why we here? After all we used to be people give orders and tell people do and don't and have wealth and everything we wanted. Now we are shackled in a prison. And the Father says, دعوة مظلوم سرت بليل. دعوة مظلوم سرت بليل. The prayer of someone who was oppressed. It floated to Allah at night time. غفلنا عنها ولم يغفل الله عنها. غفلنا نحن عنها ولم يغفل الله عنها. We were mindless, heedless of it, but Allah wasn't mindless and heedless of it. This is the dua of the oppressed. This is the dua of the righteous. And this is the end result, my brothers. This is the result of oppression. So when you want to advise someone who's oppressed, out of worry for him, out of care for him, you want him to be better as an individual, as a nation, tell him to stop the oppression. Wallahi, the country will prosper again. Stop the oppression. The countries that they used to talk about back in the 60s, the countries they used to talk about back in the 60s have now been advancing more. The countries that our fathers fled from in the 60s and 70s and 80s are beginning to gain more rights. Do you know, in Saudi, in prisons over there where they held the so-called terrorists, as bad as the government it is, and as bad as the people there, the people they have as terrorists can have cell phones? Today over here they deprive someone of his, I just heard yesterday or the day before, of them taking our brothers, a certain brother, I read it on the internet, a certain brother's papers and pen and he can't write. This is in the United States prison, federal prison. Don't be astonished. I lived it and I seen it and it's true. They took papers and pens, you couldn't write. I'm writing to myself. This is how I do. This is how I venge off my frustration. No, you can't write. What is my writing going to harm you? You can't mail no one. You can't call no one. You have absolutely nothing of knowing what's going on in the outside world. Can you imagine living like that? It's about Maghrib time. Don't you feel the urge now to make dua? If nothing but that you make dua for your brothers, then do it. This is the topic that I plan to continue to talk about. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the release of our brothers all over the world. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, to shower them with mercy and compassion, because they are under the hands of those who know no compassion and no mercy. Ya Allah, Ya Wahid, Ya Ahad, the one who knows and sees these people and what they're going through, shower them with your compassion and your mercy. You're the all merciful, you're the all compassionate. Oh Allah, return them to their families and loved ones unharmed. Oh Allah, hasten their release. Oh Allah, strengthen their iman. Oh Allah, firm their hearts with iman and tawheed and belief, and strengthen them on la ilaha illallah. Oh Allah, be with them. Oh Allah, be with them in their seclusion, in their torture, in their oppression, and relieve them of all that and take them out of it victorious. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi.